Here we have puzzle number 4, the many-headed monster. I'm going to see if I can I like make this fit? There we go. And as you can see here, this is a Lord of Typhon game. Let's do this. We have a Lord of Typhon game with a marionette and a poisoner in play. This puzzle was again made by Not Quite Vertical. I'll put that link in the description to the website with all the puzzles and all the ones I've previously done and recorded and uploaded already. So, of course, the Lord of Typhon sits between the two minions, and good players will report their role and information as shown. Only outsiders that could be in play are Recluse and Drunk. Any number could be in play. Any number. You were shown the Investigator token, but you could be the Drunk or the Marionette. Who is the demon and who are the minions? Okay. So you do not need to determine which minion is which. Sure. So first, this is the first puzzle that actually includes death, which is pretty important to note. We have two people that were, did they die or they got executed, and these two died. Red banners died, blue banners got executed. And looking at the placement of these deaths and knowing it's a Lord of Typhon or Typhon and that they're all in a line, we know that we cannot be the marionette immediately. We still could be the Drunk, but we cannot be the marionette. And we know we're not the demon either, which leaves us with 3 possible demon candidates. Now, I'm going to do this to signify that none of us are the demon. So we have 3 demon candidates. We just don't know which one is which or who's the actual demon. We can honestly pretty easily go through them one by one, just going through the logic. Here's what I mean. Let's assume Matt is the demon. So his minions, of course, would be Tim and Hannah. Now, of course, we ignore all their information because it is irrelevant. Sarah, either you or Hannah is the Drunk. So we know we have these 5 townsfolk. Either you, Sarah existing with the Drunk as a librarian guarantees one of us 2 is the Drunk here. I'm seeing Hannah as a possible marionette. Hannah could still be the poisoner. So we're going to kind of leave. Well, it doesn't matter either way because one of us is the Drunk and the other one is legit, right? So either way, we have a Drunk and a townsfolk right here. Adds up. Fraser, Anna and Tim. Yes. Well, Anna's dead. Tim is dead. Checks out with the Recluse, though. But the Recluse is evil, so this would have to be a red herring. And then us and Fraser himself as a no. Okay. And then us and Sarah as a yes. Well, this information just does not add up, right? How are we getting 2 yeses, one on a fake Recluse, because we know this is either marionette or poisoner, and one on me and Sarah when the demon is none of those? And we know the Drunk is between me and Sarah. Fraser is just straight up incorrect. However, there is still a poisoner. So there is viability here in terms of, okay, maybe the poisoner got Fraser on one of these yeses. It's possible. Or maybe on the no, and I am the red herring. That's also possible. Anna and Tim, one of them is the... Well, no, neither of them is a demon, so it'd have to be on the yes. There's some possibility. We'll come back to Fraser. Dan, Anna is the empath. This is factual, like straight up, good information. We know Anna is the empath. The issue is Anna has seen both my neighbors are evil on day 1. Okay, so Drunks aside, there is a yes on Anna and him. on day one, night one, and Anna has a false information on night one as well. One of them had to have been poisoned. The other one has to be a red herring. Well, Anna for sure had to be poisoned, right? So we can say something like this, and we'll do a little red dot for poisoner or poisoned night one. So Fraser has guaranteed sober info here. One of them has to be a red herring. This is sober info. And this can also technically be sober info if poisoned, right? There's an issue with this, though. Even though this all looks sober, you got to realize the two minions here both died. Meaning the poisoner would not have done this on night 3 because night 2 or day... What was it? The order. Hannah died night 2. Possible marionette. Tim died night 3. Fortune teller acts after both of them. Or after the poisoner and the demon kill. So poisoner died and then fortune teller acted. Meaning this had to be sober info. And if we know this is sober info and this is sober info, we know this world cannot be correct. And as you can see, having a poisoner in play makes this really tricky. So yeah, even if Anna was poisoned night 1, and Fraser was sober, saw a red herring, then got true info night 2, then got the night 3 info just doesn't make sense because the poisoner would be dead. Also, demon killing their own minions like this is crazy. But anyways, point being, this circle is not viable as Matt being the demon. So I'm glad we got to do that. Got to go over that. And I can't go much farther than that, so let's go ahead and erase. Next up, we're going to try Sarah Demon. So now Sarah's the demon, and Tim and Fraser are the minions. Okay, sure. Where does that leave us? So ignoring this information, we have juggler info, Anna info, who we either have to assume was poisoned or is the drunk. Possibility Dan was poisoned night 1 and Anna is the drunk. It's honestly going to be kind of annoying to figure that out. We have Hannah over here who also has bad information. Actually, no, you are the investigator. So this is true info. We have Matt over here who has some interesting information. Seeing Tim as the recluse, that would be wrong in this world. Hannah as the dreamer, that would be correct, barring a drunk. Me as investigator, that would be correct, barring a drunk. Dan as Lord of Typhon, always wrong. And it was only those 4 guesses. So how can we kind of move about this information? Let's start by assuming Anna is the drunk. This is the easiest way to start. Well, then that would mean Dan was guaranteed poisoned on night 1. Right? Because Dan is seeing the empath. So that doesn't make any sense if Anna's the drunk. Also, but like if Dan is poisoned and Anna's the drunk, my sober info makes no sense. Matt or Hannah as the marionette. Well, Matt and Hannah are not in this little thing over here. So already Anna being the drunk is not viable. So let's assume Anna was poisoned on night 1, but is actually the empath. Dan is also the empath. Or I mean, the Undertaker. Or sober, I guess. So cool. We have sober info from Dan. We have poisoned info from Anna. I am the drunk in this world. Because if Anna was poisoned night 1, then I have to be drunk. And I do want to go back to another world in a second. But if I'm the drunk, what about Hannah, who got night 1 info? Both Anna and Hannah could not have been poisoned on night 1. And if I'm the drunk, Hannah getting this information makes no sense. So let's go back. There is one thing that I forgot to mention. Anna is the drunk. Dan is the poisoned on night 2. Dan was poisoned night 2. I was poisoned night 1. This is how this can add up. So we know in the Sarah Demon world, I cannot be the drunk because of Anna and Hannah's information along with Dan. But in this possibility, Anna is the drunk, Dan as the Undertaker got poisoned on night 2. I got poisoned on night 1. That's why we both have information that leads in a different direction. Hannah will still get sober night 1 information because poisoned over here, and now Matt has to have sober info in order for this to work. Investigator and Hannah, but only one correct. This world will not work because Matt could not have been poisoned and cannot be the drunk. Okay, so is there any way we can make this work? Maybe we can go back to Anna being just poisoned on night 1. But again, I have to be the drunk. And as we saw, then how is Hannah seeing this? Yeah, it's not possible. So, is it just Fraser? Well, let's go over it. Let's see. You might be surprised. Oops. Let's see the Fraser world. So, Sarah is the minion. And Dan is the minion here. So we ignore all of their information as it is arbitrary. We have a real recluse. I am seeing a marionette between Matt and Hannah still. Okay, well, let's start with me being the drunk. Because there's 2 possibilities. Either I was poisoned night 1 or I'm the drunk. Anna, if I'm the drunk, Anna had to have been poisoned on night 1. Because Anna can't be the drunk. But you remember this? This is the same exact situation where Hannah's information cannot be this if I'm drunk and Anna is poisoned night 1. So we gotta discount this world already. Okay, so what is the other possibility? I am real. And I was poisoned night 1. So Hannah's information is also real. Okay, I was poisoned night 1. So Anna has to be the drunk. Because she could not have been poisoned night 1. Sorry, hold on. That was annoying me the way it looked. There we go. Anna is the drunk. And Matt and Tim are left. Well, we know Tim is just a recluse here in this world. That leaves Matt's information. So Matt got me as investigator. Dan as Lord of Typhon. That's wrong. Tim as recluse. That's true. Hannah as dreamer. That is also true. And only one correct. However, that's because Matt would have to have been poisoned on night 2. So if I'm poisoned night 1, Matt is poisoned night 2, this world works completely. Ignoring their information because it's arbitrary, it's fake, doesn't matter who's the marionette or the poisoner. In fact, Sarah specifically has to be the poisoner, and Dan is the marionette, if you want to go that far. because Dan was executed on day 2 and Matt had to. Oh, no, you know what? It doesn't matter, actually. It could have been either way. Doesn't matter. Whoops. Anyways, the world is Fraser's the Lord of Typhon. Sarah is a minion. Dan is a minion. We got Tim the Recluse. Anna the Drunk, who thought she was the empath. Me, the investigator, who got poisoned on night 1. Matt, the juggler, who got poisoned on night 2. And Hannah, the dreamer, who got true and sober information. That's the world.